I call it a session to order. Would anyone like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I would.
You may go ahead.
Ooh, thank you. Your hand over your heart. Look at a flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for one nation under.
Okay, thank you.
To the.
I will now call to roll. So when I say your name, please say present. Senator Kane.
Present, sorry.
Okay. Senator Hamilton.
Present.
Senator Leo is present. Senator Steele.
Present.
Senator Winters.
Present.
Senator Mantooth is voting proxy. Senator Rubio.
Present.
Senator Ace.
Present.
Senator Mantooth, are you present?
Yes, present.
Okay, he's marked as present now. Senator Sawyer.
Present.
And Senator Trafford.
Present.
Alright. With
shit.
10 out of 10 present, we have a full chamber today, and we have quorum.
Damn. So you guys can vote on that amendment in the game.
Oh.
Shoot. Alright. Yeah.
We will do that, okay. Great.
Do you want me to do the clerk thing and, like, help you with calling
Yeah,
the agenda?
you can.
Okay.
Yes. So Mr. Clerk, could you please list the items on the agenda?
Alright, the first item on the agenda is H.R. 1501, which is the Expungement Clarification Act proposed by Representative Joseph Jr. H.R. 1502, which is the Supreme Court Amendment to the Court Jurisdiction Act of 2017, proposed by Representative Combatant. H.R. 1503, which is the Clarified Impersonation Act of 2017, proposed by Representative Gatsby. H.R. 1506, proposed by Representative Combatant, which is entitled Citizenship Revocation Act of 2017. S-1502 as amended, which is the Election Protection Act of 2017, proposed by Senator Roman Steele. H.R. 1507, which is an amendment to 7 U.S. Code, proposed by Representative McTavish. And then H.R. 1508, Failed Immigration Appeal Act, proposed by Representative Combatant. And then we've got H.R. 1509, the American Enforcement Act, proposed by Representative Vermillion. S-1508, the Commissioning Opportunities for Public Polls, Elections, and Referenda Act, proposed by Senator Breslin, or Senator Ace. S-1509, which is Army Uniform Exchange Act of 2017, proposed by Senator Sawyer. S-1510, which is the Judicial Procedure Amendment Act, proposed by Senator Ace. S-1511, which is Making Things Right Act of 2017, proposed by both Senator Leo and President Russo. And then finally, SJRES 1502 as amended, the Senate Reformation Act, proposed by Senator Kane.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. We will now vote on the approval of the agenda.
Point of order.
State point of order.
I believe that the news was removed.
The what?
Oh, I apologize. Never mind that.
Okay. So we will vote on the approval of the agenda. So Senator Kane.
Aye.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
I can do this.
Oh, thank you.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright, with 10 out of 10 IGN The agenda passes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. We'll move on to item 1 on the agenda, which is HR 1501, written by Congressman M. Joseph Jr. The floor is open for debate.
Mr. President, I motion to proceed to a vote.
30 seconds. All right, we'll move on to a vote. Mr. Clerk, you please call a roll.
Senator Kane.
I'm.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Same.
Abstain.
Yeah.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Trafford.
Aye.
With 9 in favor and 1 abstaining, this item passes.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 2, HR 1502, written by Representative Combatant. Floor is open for debate.
Motion approved.
Are there any
Second motion
seconds?
to proceed.
All right, we'll move on to vote. Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Senator Kane.
I'm.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye.
With 10 in favor, none opposed, and none abstaining, this passes and is sent to the President.
All right, thank you. Move on to item 3, HR 1503, written by Representative Dr. Gatsby. Floor is open for debate.
Mr. Speaker, I request the floor.
You have the floor.
Mr. President, while this bill is great, there are also some flaws with the bill. Following passage of S1507, Section 47 of the U.S. Code was already created, so I will be motioning to amend the bill to change the reference of Section 47 in the bill to Section 48, and then the mention of Section 48 to Section 49.
Are there any seconds to that motion? All right, we'll motion to amend the bill. So, Mr. Clerk, you please call the roll.
So this is just
On
the
the motion.
motion hasn't been presented though, right?
It has been amended.
Oh, okay.
It has been.
All right.
So, whatever.
All right. Senator Kane.
I'm.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye.
All
Unanimous
right.
approval, it passes.
Okay.
Mr. President, I motion to vote. Oh, wait, did we just vote on the amended version or the?
We voted on
motion to
the
amend?
amendment. Yeah.
Okay, so we still have to vote on the amended version.
Yes.
Okay, I motion to vote on the amended version of the bill.
Are there any seconds?
Second.
Second.
All right. We'll move on to a vote on the amended version of HR 1503. Mr. Clerk.
Senator Kane.
I vote I'm.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
He's BRB.
I'll mark him as abstain. Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright. With 9 in favor and 1 abstaining, this bill is passed and sent to the President.
It does not be sent back to the House.
It
Oh.
does.
It has to go back to the House.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
you're right. Yeah, so this is sent to the House because it was amended. Gotcha. Sent to the House.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Move on to item 4, HR 1506, written by Representative Combatant. The floor is open for debate.
I motion for a 2-minute recess.
Are there any seconds?
I second.
Duration of the.
All right. We'll do a quick voice vote. All in favor of a 2-minute recess, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. It will move, and we will reconvene at 8:44 p.m. I called a session back into order, and we will move on to HR 1506, written by Representative Combatant, and the floor is open for debate.
My request.
Senator Kane.
I apologize for mentioning that I was kind of confused when I was originally reading this. This bill seems to have similar meaning as to its objective as a bill that we're considering, both of which deal with citizenship and immigration services. I don't think that it's necessary to pass legislation that overlap. So I stand in opposition to this bill, and I encourage senators to nay this bill for that reason. I yield.
All right, the floor is still open for debate.
Motion to move on.
Second.
Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. Mr. Clerk.
Alright. Senator Kane.
Nay.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Nay.
Senator Steele.
Abstain.
Whoa, hold on. I done goofed, hold on. Okay. Wait. That was an A. That was an A. And then that was... Okay, sorry. Senator Winters.
Nay.
Senator Mantooth. Senator Mantooth?
He voted in proxy.
Oh, did he leave again? Oh. That was weird. Yeah, I think he abstained on it, so I'll put him as absent and then put everything else in this thing as abstain for him. Sorry, give me a second, I'll get that done. Okay, Senator Rubio.
A.
Nay or A?
A.
Alright, Senator Ace.
Nay.
Senator Sawyer.
Nay.
Senator Trafford.
Nay.
Alright, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with 6 against, 2 in favor, and 2 abstaining, this bill fails.
All right, thank you. we'll move on to item 5 on the agenda, S.1502 as amended, written by Senator Steele, and the floor is open for debate.
Move passage.
Second.
All right, we'll move on to a vote. Mr. Clerk?
Alright, on S1502.
Yes.
Senator Kane.
I vote aye.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
A.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright. With 9 in favor and 1 abstaining, this bill passes and is sent to the House.
All right, thank you. No, it was already amended.
It was as amended, so it would go to
Yeah, so it'll go to President, yeah.
Okay. Alright, sent to the President.
All right. Move on to item 6, HR 1507, written by Representative McTavish. The floor is open for debate.
Mr. President, I request the floor.
Senator Kane. I mean Senator Hamilton. Sorry.
While this bill does have good intentions, it also leaves out the amendment to the U.S. Code that was passed with Senate Bill 1507. So I would motion to amend the bill to include the disregard for impartiality of 20-day sentence under the felony offenses.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second.
Second.
All right. We will vote on the amendment to HR 1507. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alright, Senator Kane.
Aye.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Roman.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Senator Winters. Aye.
Senator Mantooth is gone. Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Sorry, I
Aye.
meant aye. Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Mike was muted.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye. Thank you.
The amendment passes.
All right. So now the floor is still open for debate on the bill as amended.
I request.
Senator Kane.
From my understanding, what this bill is trying to do, as you know, some of the groups look at us and see some of our sentencing laws as it makes this group unappealing. And as you're all aware, crime brings activity at times to this group. Not encouraging it, but that's a way of activity at times for courts and everything. So I think that it would be beneficial to decrease the sentencing for offenses in the United States, and I think that it would hopefully encourage people to look at our group and see that we're taking strides to improve our justice system. I hope everyone votes in the affirmative. I yield.
All right. Does anyone else request the floor?
Motion to proceed to a vote.
100 seconds.
I second.
All right. Move on to a vote. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alright, Senator Kane.
I'm
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright, with 9 in favor and 1 abstaining, this is passed, and it is sent. If I am not mistaken, this is going to go to the President.
House.
Back to the House. It was amended.
God damn it, I miss it every time. Alright, there you go.
House.
We'll move on to item 7, HR 1508, written by Representative Combatant. Floor is open for debate.
a motion to proceed.
I second.
Second.
Okay, move on to a vote on HR 1508. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Kane.
I'm
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright, let's try this again.
Did you do Senator Mantooth?
Mantooth is gone.
He's here.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here again? Oh, well. Oh, shoot, it's like we're playing ping pong with this presence thing. Hold on, let me try again. Alright, Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Alright, let's try this again. With 10 in favor, this bill passes and is sent to the President.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Ding, 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 ding. Alright.
Okay. Now we'll move on to item 8 on the agenda. HR 1509, written by Congresswoman Vermillion. And the floor is open for debate.
I request.
You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand in opposition to this bill for the purpose, while I agree, actually, I'll propose an amendment after I'm done speaking. But I agree that foreign dignitaries should not be able to vote in our election, be deemed, quote unquote, as citizenship, I guess citizens. I think this bill is ambiguous. We'll go with that. Foreign dignitaries isn't defined; it's not specified, and this issue of dignitaries and conflicts of interest are dealt with by our nobility clause, and I think that does an effective job of handling the situation. So, unless the Congresswoman, whenever if this bill fails, goes back to I think she needs to define what foreign dignitary and be a little more thorough with the structure of this bill. So I hope that you all vote in the negative, and there's also some formatting issues with it. There's 2 Section 2s. I don't know how that's possible. With that, I hope you all vote this piece of legislation down.
Did you say you had an amendment to the bill?
No, I would track the saying that there's an.
All right. The floor is open for debate. All right, we'll move on to a vote. Floor is closed.
Alright, Senator Kane.
Nay.
Senator Hamilton.
Abstain.
Alright, hold on, let me add Mantooth's name in here, because I had to bring it to a separate sheet of paper. You said abstain. Okay. Senator Leo.
Abstain.
Senator Steele.
Abstain.
Jesus. Senator Winters.
Nay.
Senator Mantooth.
Nay.
Senator Rubio.
Nay.
Senator Ace.
Nay.
Senator Sawyer.
Nay.
Senator Trafford.
Abstain.
Alright. With 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 naying and 4 abstaining, this bill fails.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 9, I believe. S.1508, written by Senator Ace, Senator Breslin. The floor is open for debate.
Mr. President, I would like to request the floor.
You have the floor, Mr. Hamilton.
Hopefully.
Well, I generally agree with this bill. In section 5 of the bill, when it mentions recall elections, it says a recall election must be publicly announced and held within 7 days of the acquisition of congressional consent. Seeing as the Supreme Court also plays a matter in approving or disapproving, I think that it should be following their decision, not the Congress's decision, because while we can hope that they would act within 7 days, it cannot be ensured. So that's just my piece on that. So I guess I would like to amend to change it to 7 days following the decision by the Supreme Court, and that's that.
Is there a... Would anyone like to speak on the motion?
I think, I request, sorry, I'm not following.
You have the floor.
I think that it should be the acquisition, Supreme Court and congressional consent. That way, it's after both, so it's clarified that it has both consent before moving on. With the
Would you like me to make a floor amendment?
I don't stand in support of having just Supreme Court. I think it should also include congressional as well.
Would anyone else like to speak on the motion?
I yield.
President,
Sorry.
may I have the floor?
You have the floor.
Amendment to add Supreme Court consent after the words congressional consent.
I second.
Second.
We'll vote on the amendment to the
Alright.
bill.
Senator Kane.
Aye.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
Aye.
The amendment passes.
Sorry.
Okay. So now we'll move on. Oh, and the floor still open for debate on the bill as amended.
I would like to make another amendment.
State your amendment.
I would like to amend that the Supreme Court must give their consent or their consent on whether or not the recall is valid within a period, and that be inserted into Section 5 after the recall election must take place within 7 days of the acquisition of consent.
So what would be the exact wording of your amendment?
It would be that the Supreme Court shall make a decision on whether or not to hold a recall election within a period of 3 days after the Congress gives its consent for one.
All right. Would anyone else like to speak on the motion? I mean, the
May I
amendment.
have the floor, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. President.
Section 5 already gives the role of certifying and verifying all elections to the overseers. So that section would have stricken in order to add yours.
Okay, what I was hoping for is after the Congress acts, that there would be a period of time in which the Supreme Court will act. That way, if Congress acts, the Supreme Court has to act in a timely manner on whether or not to give its approval for the recall election or not.
So
Okay.
what is the exact wording again? And where would it be
The
added?
exact wording would be after a recall election. After that paragraph, it would state that the Supreme Court must rule on whether or not to grant the recall election within a period of 3 days after the Congress gives consent for the recall.
All right. So would anyone else like to speak on that amendment?
I'm, yes.
Okay, you have the floor, Mr. Hamilton.
I mean, the Constitution requires them to rule, and I mean, you're not really stating what would happen if they didn't rule within that 3 days. But then again, if they're not ruling within 3 days,
This is,
bring up an issue.
if I could, Mr. President.
Yes, you have the floor.
Generally, whenever you say that you must do something, it's law binding.
Okay, but you're not giving any, like, there's no consequences to them not.
Okay, so what would you propose the consequences be?
Well, I mean, it could just be considered. I mean, but you couldn't really just say that they considered it to be approved because they still have to formally approve it.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's just in the Constitution. It gives it states that they. Let me find the exact wording.
I apologize for interjecting here. I just want to kind of save you guys the trouble on this because, and I know I'm not a senator, but I just thought this was important to bring up, is that the Constitution does state that there is a procedure for a recall election on the presidency, so maybe you guys should like add an exception to the presidency, and this bill only applies to, you know, like Congress and stuff like that. Just wanted to let you know. Let me post that in the chat.
Can I pose a question to the author?
Mr. Breslin, do you yield to a question?
I yield to a question.
Is Section 5's purposes of recall elections? Is that for the presidency, or is this for Congress as well?
This bill is intended to act pursuant to Amendment 22 of the United States Constitution, so it works alongside it.
Okay, I just wanted clarification. So this is for the procedure for recall election for the presidency, right?
For for Congress and presidency, yes.
Ooh. Interesting.
Okay.
I'm rather confused.
Now,
Amendment 22 doesn't say anything about recall congressional elections.
would anyone else like to speak on the motion?
I would just like to request the floor to read the exact amendment in its text.
You may.
Amendment 22 states that when a majority of the Congress of the United States requests a recall election on the presidency of the United States, the Supreme Court must confirm or deny the request to allow the recall election with a simple majority.
May I speak on that, Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Breslin.
Amendment 22 gives that the Supreme Court must confirm or deny the request, but it gives no procedure for how the request will play out. That the Supreme Court must confirm or deny. It does not give any further procedure other than that.
If I could request, if Mr. Breslin is finished.
I yield.
Okay, you have the floor, Mr. Kane.
Thank you, Mr. President. The reason why, and I'm speaking towards the portion that I amended with the Supreme Court, is so that if Congress passes a referendum or whatever for recall election, it means that the Supreme Court must act in a timely manner to deny or approve of that request. That's why I proposed that amendment, so the Supreme Court can't just sit on it for eternity, and it makes this a more efficient process of if a recall election is going to happen or not. That way, the nation isn't sitting in kind of a state of disarray and waiting on the Supreme Court to make a decision. That's why I authored the amendment, to the point of whether or not there are consequences for the Supreme Court not acting. If you read Section 5, a recall election must be publicly announced within 7 days of the acquisition of both the Supreme Court and the Congress. So using the logic used by one of my fellow senators, if it's not publicly announced, are there going to be consequences for that as well? There's not any consequences for that. We didn't add any consequences to it. So I don't see there being any need other than legal binding text that the Supreme Court must make that ruling within 3 days. So with that, I yield.
All right, would anyone else like to speak on the amendment?
One thing, Mr. President.
No.
You are recognized.
In addition to what Senator Kane said, I would consider, if the Supreme Court did not act on this, I would consider that similar to a pocket veto, which is the power of the president, where he just sits on the bill until here there is a time constraint. So if they do not pass it within 3 days, it is similar to a pocket veto. I yield.
Just very quickly, also, I want to request real quick.
You're recognized.
To build off of what Senator Breslin said as well, there is a portion of the Constitution, I believe, that addresses the removal of a Supreme Court justice. So if we want to get down into the nitty gritty, the consequences of Supreme Court justices not taking up this thing could be deemed as that they're not acting within good behavior. And if Congress is very strongly opinionated on having a recall, then they can go through the proper processes of removing those individuals from office for not taking their request up if it is a very dire situation. So I just wanted to point that out. I yield.
All right. Would anyone else like to speak on the amendment?
I move passage of the amendment.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
Okay. We'll move on to voting on the amendment. Mr. Clark.
All right, on the amendment, Senator Kane,
Aye.
Senator Hamilton,
Aye.
Senator Leo,
Aye.
Senator Steele,
Aye.
Senator Winters,
Aye.
Senator Mantooth,
Aye.
Senator Rubio,
Aye.
Senator Ace, Senator Ace, Senator Sawyer,
Aye.
Senator Trafford,
Aye.
and the amendment passes.
Okay. The floor is still open on the bill as amended.
I motion to proceed.
I second.
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 Okay. We'll move on to a vote on the bill as amended. Mr. Clerk.
Senator Kane,
I vote in the affirmative.
Senator Hamilton,
Aye.
Senator Leo,
Aye.
Senator Steele,
Aye.
Senator Winters,
Abstain.
Senator Mantooth,
Aye.
Senator Rubio, Senator Rubio. I guess Senator Rubio abstains. Senator Ace,
Aye.
Senator Sawyer,
Aye.
Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright. This bill is passed and it is sent to the House. As
All right. Thank you. We will now move on to S.1509, written by Senator Sawyer.
Mr. President, I motion for a 2-minute bathroom recess.
I second.
Is there a second?
I'm
Okay.
not a
All in
senator, and I'll
favor,
second that.
all in favor of a 2-minute recess, say aye.
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 All opposed.
Cricket,
Aye.
cricket. Alright.
All right, Senate is now back in order, back in session. So now we'll open the floor for debate on S.1509, written by Senator Soya.
I motion to proceed.
Or second.
Second.
All right, we'll move on to a vote on S.1509. Mr. Clerk.
All right. Senator Kane.
Aye.
Senator Hamilton.
Abstain.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Abstain.
Senator Ace. Was that an aye or a burp? I couldn't hear that.
Aye.
Okay. Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright. With 8 in favor and 2 abstaining, this bill passes and is sent to the House.
Yeehaw.
All right. Now we will move on to S.1510 by Senator Ace/President. The floor is open for debate.
I request the floor.
You have the floor.
Mr. President, while this bill is meant to simplify the process, I guess that was the intentions. I just believe that it's not a good idea because giving one man the ability to approve over the United States Congress approving, I just don't believe that's a good idea. I mean, there are certain issues with the said person that could be stated, but let's just not go into those. So yeah, I'm urging my colleagues to vote nay and stick with the process of congressional approval. So I yield.
I request.
Senator, can you recognized?
Thank you. Will Mr. Hamilton yield for a question?
Mr. Hamilton, yield for a question.
I request we just keep this
Excuse?
as a general statement.
So
So do you yield or not?
Yeah, me? Yes. I thought you said Hamilton. I'm sorry.
I said to keep it to general statements, not questions.
We have the ability to ask. So whenever someone asks you if you yield, you usually deny.
And that is me indirectly saying no.
Okay, so no. Okay.
Well, that would have been
Well then,
Can't take a hint.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to
Order.
speak laissez-faire.
Thank you.
I don't. I'll speak to the bill then, since Senator Hamilton did not answer my question. I think that the purpose of this bill is to try to make the process of the bar exams more efficient and giving the power of handling these exams. We already allow the Attorney General to give these tests, and I don't think, because we have personal vendettas against the Attorney, that we should not allow him the opportunity to create and edit bar exams, as that is within the field of justice. I think that the Senate almost unanimously confirmed Mr. Warren as Attorney General, and I think that as such we gave him the ability to carry out his duties as Attorney General. So I don't think that we should be questioning his abilities to do his job based off of personal issues that we have. So I hope that my colleagues vote in the affirmative of this piece, try to make the process of the bar examinations more efficient and allowing the Attorney General to have this ability. So I hope you all vote yes, and I yield.
Does anyone else press the floor?
May I have the floor, Mr. President?
All right, the chair hears none, and the floor is now
May
closed.
I have, Mr. President, may I have the floor?
Oh, yes, I will open the floor back up for you. You're recognized.
This bill is solely for the purpose of putting the bar exam under the Department of Justice. So every time that the Department of Justice question to the bar exam or remove a question or reword something, they don't have to go through Congress and have a whole bill written just to approve adding a question or subtracting a question at all. They already have the ability to create them, where the current law is worded where they have to have congressional approval to edit the bar exam, which to me makes no sense to have the bar exam under the complete jurisdiction of the Department of Justice. And with that, I yield the floor.
All right, does anyone else request?
On motion to proceed.
I second.
Okay, we'll move on to a vote on S.1510. Mr. Clerk.
Senator Kane.
I vote in the affirmative.
Senator Hamilton.
Nay.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Mantooth.
Aye.
Senator Rubio.
Aye.
Senator Ace.
Second. Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Trafford.
Aye.
Alright, with 1 hefty nay and 9 in favor, this bill passes and is sent to the House.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to S.1511, written by Senator 0016. And I yield the chair to Senator Hamilton.
Oh boy.
Glad he's the senior senator.
The floor is open. Were you requesting the floor?
I request the floor.
You're recognized.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. So as you all know, the armed forces in general, before the Marine Corps shut down, was suffering from a lack of manpower, and combined with the long prison sentences that people have, even though that's hopefully going to be sorted out soon. Relieving people in prison, and they're basically just sitting there in a rank having nothing to do, and they're not making any contributions to society. So, by passing this bill, what would happen is the prisoners that were convicted would serve 30% of their prison sentence before being able to apply for military service. So they would still be serving part of their sentence in jail, so they'd still get that punishment. But after that, they would be able to apply for military service, as I stated. So what they would do is they would petition to a member of the federal court, and after that, they must receive approval from the DOJ, the Joint Youth Staff of that they're trying to join, and the federal court judge they petition to. Now, because this is a special privilege, I guess you could say, once they're in the branch, they have to do what's necessary of all other service men and women. So if, for example, the person is not following orders, the service chief, there would be a person in the Department of Justice that would be maintaining contact with the leadership of the branch, make sure that they're following orders. And if they don't, for example, the Joint Chief of Staff, that the Justice Department official, and the federal court judge would have to sign off on removing their ability to serve in the military, and they would go back to prison, and they would go back to that 30% mark. So they would serve in prison from the 30% mark of their other sentence. And so this, and also they will only be able to serve as a junior non-commissioned officer or lower, which is E4 and below. So we don't have convicts rising to officer positions in the branch. So I think this bill will help the Army out quite a bit and make prisoners eligible to make things right and contribute to society. And I yield the floor. I take back the chair.
I request.
Mr. President, I request the floor.
Senator Kane has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to make my mark.
You cut out.
That bill is one that people aren't just simply rotting away in prison. It gives them a purpose.
Yeah, you keep cutting out, Philip.
Am I still cutting out?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I'll just hold my mic up to my mouth. Anyway, as I was saying, I think this piece of legislation is a great idea. It makes sure that people aren't just sitting on their asses in jail. It gives them a purpose. It gives them something to do, and it gives our military some more men to help them out in achieving their goals. So I think this piece of legislation is a wonderful idea. I thank Senator Leo for sponsoring this piece of legislation. He's a great guy, and I hope you all vote for it. I yield.
Mr.
All right,
President, I
Senator
request the floor.
Mr. Trafford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Regarding Section 5, accountability, should an individual convicted of a crime, nonviolent or violent, should they be selected for this Making Things Right Act, if they should go rogue or not necessarily disobey order, but become insubordinate, would that apply there, or is the section needed to be amended?
The bill specifically says, hold on. If any individual who originally approved a military term of service, a Justice Department official, member, Joint Chiefs of Staff, or the presiding federal court judge feels that the prisoner is not fulfilling an obligation, then should be sent to prison, blah, blah, blah. So, not fulfilling an obligation, going rogue, not following orders, etc., falls under that.
Received, thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else request? You have the floor.
So my first point here is that from what I can see from the group and from what I know, there are not a lot of people in federal prison. Hello?
Yes?
There's not a lot of federal prison. Can you guys hear me?
You keep cutting out.
Okay, there's not a lot of people in federal prison, so I don't think that this is going to have a huge impact. Secondly, I'm assuming after they assume this is more like a question to clarify, after they serve their prison sentence in the military, are they discharged after?
That'll be up. That's not in the bill. They would still be allowed to serve. So they wouldn't be discharged after. Unless they ask for discharge. But I believe what the military's doing now is that they're having contracts. Yeah.
Okay, and my next point is that if they serve, let's just say, most of their time in the military, and they're discharged for some reason, is it fair that they have to start back from the 30% or 30% point and have to reserve all that time?
Well, this is a special privilege that most people wouldn't get. So I think that is fair.
Yes, but if they serve a lot of time faithfully, if they are doing the thing and they break some stupid violation or something comes up and they are discharged, would it be fair to go back from the 30% point and have to reserve all this time? Especially since sentence times are so long now.
Well,
Well,
I believe-
well.
Mr.
Senator Manton,
Order,
are you
please.
having like a stroke or something like that? I'm just curious.
No,
Are we
I
still
think
streaming?
Yeah, we are.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Is it fair that if they serve most of their term and for a smaller kind of reason they get discharged, is it fair that they have to start back from the 30% point, given how long prison sentences are?
I don't believe that people are not discharged for little things. People are only discharged for bigger things, such as disobedience, not following orders, blah blah blah. So I think if they got discharged in the first place, they had to do something major.
Okay, I yield the floor.
Okay. Does anyone else request?
I motion to proceed.
I second.
Okay, we'll move on to a vote. Mr. Clerk.
Alrighty then. On S1511. Well, where's my thing? Senator Kane.
I vote in the affirmative.
Senator Hamilton. Take that as an aye. Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Abstain.
Senator Mantooth.
Could you call me Senator Scott now and abstain?
Yeah, Senator... Yeah, can you change that in the agenda and stuff?
Yes.
Senator Rubio.
Abstain.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Trafford.
Abstain.
Alright. With 6 in favor and 4 abstaining, this bill passes and is sent to the House.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Clerk. We'll move on to the final item on the agenda. Senate Joint Resolution 1502, as amended by the House. Being that we have a full chamber here today, we don't have to do it on the wall, we can do it right here in the session. So would anyone, the floor is now open for debate.
I motion to proceed.
I second.
Alright, just a reminder, this amendment, this joint resolution needs 7 votes in the affirmative to pass.
Alright.
Wait, can I
Mr. Clerk,
address what Senator Winters question quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, they did it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, they have in the original version, the Senate would be raised 12 seats, but they amended it to go back down to 10 seats, as it currently is. Okay.
Alright.
So, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alright, this needs 7 votes. Senator Kane.
I vote aye.
Senator Hamilton.
Nay.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Nay.
Senator Winters.
Aye.
Senator Scott.
Nay.
Senator Rubio.
A.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
And Senator Trafford.
The gentleman from New Jersey votes aye.
Alright, with a narrow margin, 7 in favor and 3 nays, this passes and is now a part of the Constitution.
No, it'll be sent to Supreme Court, right?
Well, the Supreme Court can choose to veto it within a certain period of time, but it doesn't have to be sent to. They don't have to approve every amendment.
Alright, cool. Okay. So that is the final item on the agenda. So now the floor is open for closing remarks.
I request.
Senator Kane.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to say that today has been a very productive. I thank everyone for watching and attending tonight. I'd like to say I hope to Senator Scott, if you are having a stroke or something, I hope that you get your issues sorted. Worried about your health right now, so your little outburst. Praying for you, and we'll keep in touch. So, with that,
You yield, you cut out.
I said I yield.
Okay, thank you. The floor is still open.
I motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Motion for a dance party.
No. That motion is not recognized. Okay.
I don't know. I would support
Second.
that motion.
I feel like some of us in this chamber need to loosen up a little bit.
Mr. Clerk, I believe you need to call the roll on the motion of adjournment.
On the motion for a dance party. Alright, on the motion for a dance party, Senator Kane. Kidding.
I vote in the affirmative.
I believe it's adjournment. Yes, Mr. Hamlin. Stage point of order.
You instructed the clerk to call the vote for adjournment, not a dance.
Yes, Mr. Clerk, please call your
Point of order.
Yes.
I believe that there was second the motion to adjourn.
The chair did not hear a second.
A point of order.
So
I'd like to have my point of order heard before y'all cut me out. I'd appreciate it. As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted. I do not believe second to the motion until after the gentleman from Georgia made his motion.
I believe the motion to adjourn was seconded first. Sorry.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Yes, it was. Okay, Mr. Clerk, please continue calling the roll on the motion of adjournment.
On adjournment, Senator Kane.
Name.
Oh my god, it's Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Please fail this. Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Winters.
Nay.
Senator Scott.
Nay.
Jesus fuck. Senator Rubio.
A.
Oh man. Senator Ace. Senator Ace.
A.
A or nay?
Nay.
Okay.
said
Senator
A.
Sawyer.
Mr. Clerk, I believe you said A.
He said nay. He said nay.
Senator Ace.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Senator Sawyer.
I voted nay in the chat.
It's all up to Senator Trafford.
Aye. Adjourn.
I motion to revote on.
Is there a second?
Second.
Alright,
Dios mío.
Senator Kane.
I vote nay on adjournment.
Senator Hamilton.
Aye.
Senator Leo.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
No.
Senator Winters.
You go to nay.
Chat.
Senator Scott.
Nay.
Senator Rubio.
A.
Senator Ace. Senator Ace.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
He votes aye.
And Senator, what's your name? Trafford.
Aye. Please.
Okay, session's adjourned. Bye.
Aye.
Alright, we are adjourned.
That was